According to a recent Instagram stories template that's been doing the rounds, everybody looks like either a vampire, a witch, a mermaid or a fairy. Now me, I think I look like a witch, specifically this witch. So I thought it'd be fun to give you a recommendation for each of those 4 things. But before we get into that, drop an emoji in the comments below with something that represents which you think you look like, either a vampire, a witch, a mermaid or a fairy. Okay, so let's get on with some recommendations. The first that I have to represent our vampire category is The Historian by Elizabeth Kostova. This is a book that I read a long time ago, before I was a voracious reader. So this is a kind of like OG favourite book of mine. It's dark academia meets Dracula. Our main character discovers some ancient texts and letters when her father passes away, and in an attempt to unlock the mystery of her family's past, she unwittingly pursues an ancient vampire. I can see this working really well for fans of A Discovery of Witches. It's got that same kind of, like I say, that dark academia vibe with the kind of supernatural elements. Our vampire, from what I remember, it's been a long time since I've read it, is a kind of elusive character. We don't see very much of him. It's very much he's kind of in the shadows, or maybe just one step ahead all the time of our main character. But it was a really enthralling, really exciting read. She travels a lot too, so there's a bit of this sense of adventure as she's pursuing these secrets to try to unlock her family's mystery. For my fellow witches, I have Hex by Jenni Fagan. Don't be fooled by the size of this book, because though it's small, it is mighty. It really packs a punch. So this novella centres the famed Scottish witch Gaelis Duncan on the eve of her execution in 1591. She's visited by a modern day witch in the form of a bird, and she comes to hear Gaelis's story about the events that led up to her being persecuted as a witch. This is powerful feminist witchlit, which exposes, unfortunately, how far we haven't come in the centuries between 1591 and modern day feminism. This is part of the Darkland Tales series, where modern Scottish authors offer retellings from the nation's history. For our mermaids, I have The Mermaid of Black Conch by Monique Roffey. Set in a small fishing village on a Caribbean island, this tells the tale of Achaia. She is a mermaid captured by tourist fishermen and rescued by local fisherman David. It's about their love and how you can lose yourself to a love, but how ultimately there's an inevitable need to set those that you love free to be who they really are, to be entirely themselves. The thing that I loved about this is that this mermaid is far from your meek cartoon mermaid. She is fierce. She is powerful and wise and feared as much as she's revered. And for our fairies, I have The Absolute Book by Elizabeth Knox. I bought this unashamedly as a cover buy. It's stunning. Got this kind of like matte gold with a raven. It's just beautiful, and I will never ever get rid of it just because it's got such a stunning cover. Taryn's childhood is a mystery of fragmented memories of her sister's unsolved tragic murder, of a box being buried on an island, of a fire set in a library. She's a writer on a book tour, and one day she has an encounter with a fae, and this turns her life upside down. She's forced to start remembering some of those secrets and start to unlock the mysteries of her family's past. We travel back and forth from the real world to a fae world. You've got Odin and a pair of ravens in here. These are fairies, but not as you know them. The thing that I particularly enjoyed about this book is that a lot of it is set around the area where I live. There is actually a murder that happens. Chepstow's mentioned like literally in passing, but there's significant scenes set in Tintern, in the Wye Valley, which is all local to me. So I really enjoyed it for that point of view as well. So those are our 4 books. Which will you be picking up? Will you be vampire, witch, mermaid or fairy?